In this lesson, we'll create a second design option. Alright, so back to this design here. I'm going to jump here to Google Earth real quick. So we've got to the point where we have this design in place, and if you've worked in design for quite some time, or even if you're a student, you know that you got to make some changes. So how can we go about managing change? Well, if you have good communication and good modeling skills, you can take care of that. We've obviously generated this design and this scheme from some sort of communication with the client or some kind of an idea. So if you model this in a way, you can model it to where we can create a couple of iterations so where we can actually create one or two additional options for a client to make design decisions and final design decisions as far as how they want their building to look overall, one on the site and also how it's going to fit in to the context. And this works great whether it's a client directly or whether it's for presentations for professors, or if it's a situation where maybe you're doing something in front of a design review committee. Having other options is a nice thing to have beforehand, and it's a good way to save time on working on iterations. So let's do this really quick. It's a really easy process. So we already have this model in place, and we have this one saved nicely, Form A concept. So if you want, we can always get rid of it and place it how we want to do. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and keep this one here for now. But what I want to do is I want to jump back to SKETCHUP. So we're going to go back to this model that we kind of work with, and we're going to assume or imagine that our client here wanted to create more of a cantilevering effect and maybe stagger this side of the building to where it seems like the form of the building is a waterfall that's actually dropping into this bed of water. So really all that takes for us to do is to come to some of our areas here and do some quick adjustments. And really I'm going to do some quick rotating to create this really cool effect. And then what will end result will be another iteration for this design. So I'm going to select this top one and I'm just going to do a slight rotation of about 10 to 15 degrees on each area here. So I'm going to hold this down, go ahead and click out, and I'm going to rotate this top portion, we'll say 15. And we'll do the same thing here. This one's going to need to go up by 30, so increments of 15. So we'll take this one, and I'm going to rotate it as well. I'm going to grab it from that point, kind of move my protractor around until I see the blue. And now we're going to rotate this one out. We could say maybe 30. Let's see how that's looking for our design. Yeah, it's creating something really unique and interesting looking here. So the thing here now is coming back out and maybe continuing to kind of flip these out, but then bring it right back up to the top. So this one will rotate as well. So really it's just about the fact that we can actually make changes and iterations and bring them in, and we can manage those and all their views within our Google Earth here. So we'll go ahead and click there, move your protractor till you see it turn blue. This time we'll move this back to 15. And we'll come back up here and we'll do one more rotation here. We'll rotate this one just a little bit more. So we'll go rotate, grab it at this point till my protractor turns blue. And we'll give this one a little 7.5. So now what we've done, we've created a really funky building form from a really simple one. So now what we can do is we can actually come back in. Now I can export this. So we can say File, Export. This time I'm going to call it Form B Concept. Site's going to stay the same. It's more about the building form we're changing here. Form B Concept. So I'm going to go ahead and export that. So now we can come back to our Google Earth. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn off this layer here. Let's go ahead and add model. We'll say Form B Concept. We'll go ahead and browse this one. We know where that one's at. It should be somewhere here on a desktop. Right there. Bring this guy in, and before I hit anything, I'm going to go ahead and move this window. Let's bring them on over to our site. So we'll grab here, drop here in the center, scroll in a little bit so I can get a better view of what's going on, making sure everything's in its right place. So we'll go ahead and do a quick rotate. Try to get this aligned nicely. Go ahead and move it. Again, we're going to pay attention to the corners. That's how I'm going to actually do it. It's going to help me guide my model to the right place here. There we go. And again, we're going to mess with that altitude before we hit OK. So go back to your altitude, make it relative so we can actually move it as opposed to clamped. Just bump it up to maybe 1. Let's see what 1 does for us. Nope, 2 is going to be our best bet. 2 meters. Now click OK, and there we go. So now we have our design iterations here. So we have 2 design iterations. So now I can say, hey, this is my proposal 1, right? Or proposal B in this case. And if we could go ahead and turn that off, we can come back here to proposal A. So form A, form B, and we can see how both fit into the context of our site, as well as we have nice details on our site. So there we go. We've just created and worked with some really fast conceptual massing skills. We learned how to sculpt. We learned how to work in Google Earth to create and understand our site in the context of our building. We've also learned how to kind of manipulate our mass to fit into the site. So these tools should really help you when it comes to presenting your ideas and your concepts. And it's going to really help you get to that next stage where you can come down with a really good or nail down a design decision. So then you can go to the design development phase and then start refining your project. But I'm really excited to go over this. I love the conceptual design phase. I love being able to explore sites and learn more about my areas. And Google Earth gives you that opportunity to do so. So last but not least, I want to show you, now that we've gone through all this work, what do we do with this image? Do we just keep it in here? No, we can actually save this out and use this for presentation. So you just basically just come to the top, go to save, save image, and you could save your images whatever you want. You can say aerial view concept. And you can save this wherever you really want to. I'm going to save this, we'll say to my desktop here. And then if I wanted to review that, I can double click on my desktop, get that image, and this is what we have. So we have some really cool stuff that we can use for presentations. And I'll move this over so you can see it a little bit better. But this is it. So again, I'm excited to be able to show you this. We've learned how to do some 3D modeling, some site sculpting, using exterior resources like Google Earth, and then also generating images from those external resources, as well as when I come back here to our SKETCHUP, we're able to create some really cool scenes for our building design. And we also created a really cool walkthrough where we actually were able to kind of animate how we want to walk through this building design so we can come up with a cool proposal for our clients or the design review committee. So again, I'm excited to be able to show you this. I hope you could take what we learned here and take it to the next level. I'm confident that this is really going to help you with your ideas and communicate your design intent. So I look forward to working with you in future CAD courses.